The moment the automotive world has been waiting for is finally here. Valvetronic just revealed the custom exhaust system they're building for Matt Armstrong and FXG's Bugatti Chiron rebuild. And the engineering behind it is unlike anything that's ever been done for this car. The factory muffler casings are being transformed into a wild 2-to-6 double X-pipe design, purpose-built to make the W16 engine sound exactly the way it deserves.
The Bugatti Chiron exhaust development project is underway. Come take a look at what we've got. So I can see we've got our factory muffler casing here and then a very good squiggly pipe section. What do we got? What do we make here?
So using the stock as our reference, we have a 2-to-6 double X pipe design coming out to 6 outlets. Currently at the stage of development where we have to do some fixturing, we have to 3D print some templates, especially for these more complicated junctions, some bracketry, and then we're ready to fab everything together.
This is going to be a wild fabrication project. So Matt and Alex, stay tuned for this. Excited to be involved, and we're going to crank up the sound big time. Stay tuned.
Community reactions are split right down the middle, pure excitement on one side, serious doubt on the other. And both sides have a point worth hearing. Valvetronic posted an update showing Matt Armstrong and their lead fabricator holding the Chiron's exhaust components. Using the factory muffler casings as a foundation, they're completely redesigning what happens inside. A 2-to-6 double X-pipe layout emerging from 6 individual outlets. They're not just bending pipe. They're 3D printing custom templates to handle the most complex junctions, fabricating precision bracketry, and engineering a system from the ground up for one of the most powerful production engines ever built. Their fabricator summed it up simply: this is going to be a wild fabrication project. And he's not wrong. To understand why this is so difficult, you have to understand the W16. This engine has 4 turbochargers. Exhaust gases from all 4 turbos need to merge, travel through X-pipe junctions that balance back pressure and flow, and then split into 6 outlets, all while maintaining precise scavenging characteristics across the entire RPM range. Get it wrong and you lose power. Get the acoustic geometry wrong and the sound suffers. Too much back pressure and the engine struggles to breathe. Too little and you create turbulence that turns a great exhaust note into noise. The X-pipe junctions have to be positioned with precision. The merge collectors have to be shaped correctly. The outlet routing has to be designed not just for flow, but for sound. Valvetronic's fabricator acknowledged what the engineers already know. This is not like building a custom system for a turbo 4-cylinder or even a supercharged V8. The Chiron's W16 operates at a thermal and mechanical intensity that puts an entirely different set of demands on every component in the exhaust path. Extreme heat cycling, extreme vibration, extreme pressure pulses from 4 turbos firing into the same system. That's why the 3D printed templates matter. Valvetronic isn't eyeballing junctions or using approximate measurements. They're building precision fixtures to ensure every merge point and every collector is shaped and positioned correctly before a single weld is laid down. That methodology, templating before fabricating, eliminates the stress risers that lead to crack formation at weld joints. It's not guesswork, it's engineering. And the message from Valvetronic to Matt and Alex was direct. They're going to crank up the sound big time. That's the goal. Factory exhaust systems on hypercars are always compromises. They have to pass drive-by noise tests. They have to meet regulatory limits in multiple markets. They have to appeal to buyers who want refinement as much as performance. Bugatti spent millions engineering the Chiron's exhaust note, and then deliberately restrained it to satisfy regulations and market positioning. The result is an engine that, at wide open throttle, sounds considerably quieter than what the hardware is truly capable of producing. This custom Valvetronic system throws every one of those compromises away. It's designed for one purpose: to give the W16 the acoustic character it was always meant to have. No regulatory targets. No luxury buyer refinement filter. Just pure sound engineering for a machine that produces 1,500 horsepower and spins to 6,700 revolutions per minute through 16 cylinders and 4 turbos. Predictably, the community had opinions. One fan called the exhaust components pure artwork. And looking at the hand-fabricated titanium construction and the precision weld work visible in the photos, that reaction makes complete sense. The X-pipe junctions, the merge collectors, the outlet routing, it's functional sculpture. Engineering that has to perform flawlessly while looking like it belongs on a car worth millions. That uniqueness is what earns the artwork label. This is a one-of-one system engineered entirely without factory input, for the only Bugatti Chiron per sport in the world being rebuilt independently. But not everyone was impressed. One commenter predicted the exhaust wouldn't last a month before blowing up. The argument is that without Bugatti's engineering data, thermal management calculations, and real-world testing, the system won't survive the W16's conditions under sustained hard use. It's a fair question, one worth taking seriously rather than dismissing. Here's why the concern is understandable but ultimately misplaced. Valvetronic has built custom exhaust systems for supercharged engines, turbocharged engines, and high-strung naturally aspirated setups producing serious power. They understand thermal management. They understand material selection, titanium and high-grade stainless chosen specifically for their heat tolerance and structural characteristics at operating temperature. They understand the support bracketry required to prevent vibration-induced fatigue failure over time. The W16 is a uniquely demanding application, but the fundamental engineering principles that govern exhaust system durability aren't unique to Bugatti. Proper material, proper wall thickness, proper support, proper joint geometry. Valvetronic's use of precision 3D printed templates is direct evidence that they're approaching this methodically, not casually. Another critic dismissed Valvetronic entirely, claiming they only succeed in markets with strict noise regulations, where any aftermarket exhaust sounds dramatically better than stock simply because factory systems are so heavily restricted by law. The implication: in less regulated markets, Valvetronic isn't actually building anything superior. They're just benefiting from low competition. That argument fundamentally misunderstands what Valvetronic is known for. Their reputation isn't built on being louder than stock. It's built on acoustic character, engineering exhaust systems that sound intentional, layered, and tuned rather than simply loud. Volume is easy. Anyone can make an exhaust louder. Delivering an exhaust note with a specific character at idle, a different character under light throttle, and a completely different character at full song. That's engineering. That's exactly what the Chiron project demands, and it's exactly the kind of work Valvetronic specializes in. The broader significance here is what makes this build so important beyond one specific crashed hypercar. Bugatti refused to sell parts for this rebuild. A Bugatti representative made a public statement explaining why independent rebuilds of cars like the Chiron were inappropriate and potentially dangerous, effectively claiming that without factory involvement, this kind of project shouldn't be attempted at all. Matt's answer has been to custom fabricate every component Bugatti won't supply. The gearbox bracket is being CNC machined from billet, with design improvements over Bugatti's original cast unit. For radiators are being repaired by specialists in the UK. The aluminum front structure is being laser scanned and CNC fabricated from scratch. And now the exhaust is being purpose-built by one of the most respected specialist fabricators in the performance exhaust world. Every single one of these components is proof that independent builders, equipped with modern fabrication technology and genuine specialist knowledge, do not need manufacturer cooperation to produce results that meet or exceed factory specifications. That's what Bugatti was really afraid of. Not that Matt would fail. Not that the car would fall apart. They were afraid he would succeed and prove that their gatekeeping was never about technical necessity. It was corporate policy dressed up as safety concern. The Chiron won't be factory spec when it's finished. In several specific areas, particularly sound, it's going to be better than factory spec, because Bugatti's own factory spec was compromised by regulations and market positioning that this build is completely free to ignore. Meanwhile, the next major milestone is looming. The gearbox assessment is coming. Those cracks in the transmission casing have been a point of concern since this rebuild began, and the upcoming inspection will finally determine whether there's superficial cosmetic damage or structural failure that compromises the entire unit. If the gearbox is salvageable, the build stays on track. If it needs full replacement, Finding a W16 transmission outside of Bugatti's supply network becomes the next seemingly impossible challenge to solve. Bob is already working on the 4 radiators back in the UK. The front aluminum structure is being prepped for fabrication. Every specialist is working simultaneously on their respective piece of the puzzle, and the build is moving forward on multiple fronts at once. The exhaust is one piece. A critical, technically demanding, acoustically significant piece, but one piece. Valvetronic is building something Bugatti never approved and never would have approved. A 2-to-6 double X pipe system, designed without factory input, built specifically to extract the sound the W16 has always been capable of producing. The skeptics think it'll fail within a month. The fans think it's artwork. Valvetronic believes they're going to crank up the sound big time. The gearbox assessment is next, and it could change everything about the timeline and the budget. But one way or another, this build is moving forward. And the moment that W16 fires up for the first time with this custom exhaust bolted on, that's going to be one of the most anticipated sounds in the history of this entire project.